Ladies, I am here tonight on the show. How's everybody doing here tonight on a freaking Thursday, ladies and gentlemen? How's everybody doing here tonight, man? We got some wrestling news here tonight. I want to do here tonight on a freaking let's see here. We got some news. Then we have the Dynamite recap here tonight. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, let's get this puppy going here tonight on a Alright, here we go. Alright, so ladies and gentlemen, Dax Harwood did an interview and he pretty much talked about CM Punk, how he liked them. He said he was actually a good friend of mine. He always kept his locker room open if anybody had any questions. If anybody would ask him, hey, can you watch my match? And then after the match, can you give me like some advice on how I can get better? He said he would always do that to the young guys. He said he would always stay after the show was over to answer questions if anybody had questions about any type of match they had or any like a wrestling move during the match. He said I miss him. I think he's good for the business. So this is one of the few people, Dax Harwood, who's actually on CM Punk's side. Remember a few days ago, in an interview with Renee Paquette, Renee Paquette, Stokely Holloway said he's not even part of the company anymore, CM Punk. So who knows, man. Ric Flair on his podcast said that indeed Andrade suffered a tear in his shoulder. He said it looks bad. We don't know exactly how bad, but it does look bad. And then he also said, I don't like the way they're using him. I think they could use him better. I don't like that he's in a tag team. I think he would be better as a singles competitor. But yeah, so Ric Flair saying, what he thinks about his run in AEW so far and confirming he does have a tear on his shoulder. So hopefully a speedy recovery for Andrade, man. In a very similar situation at CM Punk, freaking tear shoulder and suspended. Jesus Christ. Survivor Series said it broke records for both ratings on the Peacock and also for both the TD Garden and the WWE. It broke records as far as ticket sales. So a very good pay-per-view here all together, man. Obviously, I think people were tired of the freaking traditional 5-man elimination matches that had no build up to them. They just had them because that was a tradition for Survivor Series. I think everybody was excited for War Games. I feel a lot of people that do not watch NXT had never seen War Games before, so it was something new and fresh for a lot of fans. They wanted to see whether it was going to the event or buying it and watching it in their homes. So Survivor Series does really good for WWE. And let's see what happens. Supposedly Royal Rumble's also doing pretty damn good as far as the ticket sales go. So we'll see, man. They're going to have a bunch of build-up for it, as they're going to have 2 months to build up for Royal Rumble. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Let's do Dynamite recap here tonight. Dynamite. Right, let's look at the card here. Hold on, ladies and gentlemen. What the fuck is happening? What the fuck is happening, man? All right, ladies and gentlemen. Dynamite this week from Indiana. Indiana, man. Indiana for Dynamite, man. It kicks off with fucking John Moxley, man. Pretty much doing his trash talking, saying he actually said I grew up about 90 minutes. I think he was lying. Isn't he from Cincinnati? And he said he grew up about 90 miles from here. That made me scratch my ass. I think John Moxley was cocking, ladies and gentlemen. He didn't. I thought he was from Cincinnati. And then he pretty much says, there are 3 certain dad taxes and John Moxley. There is nobody that can outwork me, out wrestle me, bleed me. He pretty much said he's the heart and soul of AEW and shit like that. And nobody would dare, nobody would have the balls to look at him in the eyes and tell him otherwise. And then as he says that, fucking Adam Heyman Page comes back. He's been out for a few weeks as a concussion suffered during that Moxley match. So he comes back, and John Moxley right away tells him, "Are you sure you want to do this? Oh wait, do you even remember what happened last time we saw each other?" Frickin' Adam Page just frickin' punches him right in the mouth. They kind of, I don't know. John Moxley kind of, he at first it seemed like he was kind of running away, but then he got into the brawl as the security came. At one point, he actually fucking fell from the fucking ramp. I'm like, Jesus Christ, if this motherfucker just hurt his leg or his foot, oh my God, does AEW have bad luck? But thankfully, he got back up and continued the fight. He just tripped, didn't see the freaking ramp there, and he fell. But yeah, he looked like he was fine. They continued the brawl backstage in the parking lot. They both ended up getting kicked out of the building. So it looks like maybe they're gonna have him turn heel. And now I'm gonna get to why they're gonna have to, like, you know, everybody probably thought he was gonna continue the feud with John Moxley with MJF and William Regal, but apparently it's gonna be a switch because I'm gonna get to it here tonight. But it looks like they might turn him heel and have him feud with Adam Page. You know, use the excuse of what happened last time. You know, that he gave him a concussion and he put him in a structured and a stretcher, and he had to miss a few weeks of action. So let's see where they go exactly. But I would not be surprised if they turn him heel. All right, man. Next match, we got a great match. Dax Harwood versus Bryan Danielson. It was a hell of a match, man. Back and forth, back and forth. At the end, freaking Daniel Bryan locks up the label lock, and Dax Harwood taps out. I love they give these Dax Harwood these singles matches. Maybe in the future he can be a freaking singles competitor. We'll see, man. But Bryan Danielson wins the match. Probably one of the best matches of the night. And then let's see here. Ricky Starks, who's, you know, the number one contender for the AEW Championship, which nobody seems to give a shit about. Absolute Ricky Pendejo. He does a promo backstage, you know. I'm entering the Diamond Battle Royal next week, and then, you know, pretty much as I'm coming for your title, your ring, and your spot. Pendejo face for him, man. And then let's see here. And then we get freaking Aaron Fox versus Samoa Joe. Another kind of good match. Obviously, I believe it was actually for the freaking TNT Championship. I'm gonna, you know, go to the match. Obviously, at the end there, Samoa Joe wins it. You know, he retains. After the match, you get a freaking Warlow segment on the Titantron. He appears, and he pretty much challenges him. He says, "I'm coming back for that TNT Championship." So yeah, man. Let's see here. And then William Regal makes his way to the ring. He introduces MJF, and then, you know, MJF does a great promo. Obviously, probably the best part of the night, man. You know, he talks about everything. How William Regal reached out to him. He sent me an email. And he said, you know, man, this time I don't want you to use the diamond ring. I want you to use the brass knuckles. And he said, yeah, we met privately a few times before Full Gear. And then, you know, obviously, you know, he decided to step. You know, I wanted to make sure it was planned out very good. So John Moxley would never forget how MJF and William Regal outsmarted him. And, you know, pretty much starts talking. He once again talked about the 2024 bidding war when he's a free agent. And he said, I hope the right Khan shows the right bill. And I'm not referring to Tony. I'm referring to own Saint Nick. Obviously referring to Nick Khan from WWE. And then he also said, in the game, Trips. Obviously, Triple H. So we'll see. Then he said, this title reign is going to be so much better than it's going to make Bruno Sammartino roll in his shitty grave. Jesus Christ. MJF, man. It's kind of funny how you mentioned all these title rounds from other guys like JBL and Bruno Sammartino, and he never mentioned Roman Reigns, who's been champion for almost 3 years now. That was kind of... anyways, and then at the end, he wants to thank William Regal. He actually says, I think he was going to give him the... Oh, yeah. Also, he presents a new style of the AEW Championship. They call it the Triple B, the Big Burberry Belt. So it's a new addition. I don't know if I think it's gonna be for everybody because, yeah, usually they make it. Oh, this is my title design for me, but it might be the new design for the title. So yeah, it looks. I think it's called the Triple B, the Big Beverly Belt. So that's kind of a cool design for the new AEW Championship. And then he gets the brass knuckles out. I think he's gonna thank William Regal and then maybe hang him back the brass knuckles. But instead, he fucking hits him in the back of the head with them. Jesus Christ. He takes out William Regal and then he just leaves. Bryan Danielson runs out there. Remember, he looks at him like a father figure. Last week, he stopped Jon Moxley from beating the shit out of William Regal. Supposedly, Bryan Danielson said he has so many surgeries. If you hit him, you can actually kill him. And that's why he convinced Jon Moxley not to hurt him last week. So he looks all concerned. He's out there on his underwear. He's missing a fucking shoe. And then he gets on the ambulance and same thing, only on his underwear, no shirt, no pants, only one shoe. You know, really worried about the situation. They stretched him out of the arena. But now reports today are coming out that was his way of sending him off. William Regal is leaving AEW and apparently will be back in WWE very soon. So this is the end of it apparently, and I think this is why they had to throw some audibles in there as far as Jon Moxley instead of continuing the feud with William Regal and MJF. Now they're gonna put him with Adam Page, and they're probably gonna put Bryan Danielson, even though William Regal's probably not gonna be in the company anymore. He's probably gonna be feud with MJF after this. But reports are coming out that William Regal is finished last night with his last night in AEW. We'll see, right? There was a lot of reports that Jon Moxley was going to take a few months off after the Full Gear match, and that has not been the case. He's back, so let's see what happens. But reports today are coming out that was last night was William Regal's last night in AEW, and that he is heading back to WWE very soon. So we'll see what happens. But that explains why they had to switch directions as far as Jon Moxley goes, and now are having him feud with Adam Page potentially as a heel. We'll see, man. But great promo, great ending, shocking ending by him stabbing William Regal in the back and turning on him. We'll see, man. I can't wait. Ricky Starks, Pendejo face. I'm not interested in that. I'm more interested in probably in the bigger feud, which is gonna be MJF versus Bryan Danielson. Let's see here, man. Next, we freaking get Ricky Starks versus Arya Daivari. Obviously, Ricky Starks is right away. You know, whatever. And then we get Anna Jay versus Willow Nalga. Anna Jay won. Willow. I thought like after the MJF shit, everything went to the shithole. I'm not gonna lie. I thought the second hour wasn't as good as the first hour. And then we freaking get Jade Cargill with a celebration for what? I don't even know what. Pendejo face. And then we freaking get we get a bunch of promoting shit for Rampage and shit. And then we get the main event, which is finally picked back up. The number 3 out of best out of 7. The freaking the Elite versus the Death Triangle. The show finally picked up after a very good first hour. With the Jon Moxley Adam Page segment, the Hardwood Dex match with Bryan Danielson, even the AR-10 versus Samoa Joe match, and then obviously the big promo with MJF and leading to stabbing William Regal in the back and turning on William Regal. I thought the second hour was kind of bad until obviously the last 20-25 minutes when we had probably the best match of the night, the Elite versus the Death Triangle. What a great match, man. This was a hell of a match, man. From the beginning, fucking the Elite's going out, showing desperation after being down 0-2, attacking the freaking Death Triangle as they're walking to the ring for their entrance. At the end there, fucking Phoenix is going to the top rope. And freaking Kenny Omega's laying there. He puts his knees up. and he hits him in the ribs, and then he rolls him up. Kind of a weak finish, but whatever. 1, 2, 3 full roll up, and the Elites are on the board. It is now 2-1. That Triangle still leads, but the Elites get their first W. But yeah, man, this was a hell of a match. This might have been the best out of the 3 so far. But yeah, man, great match. I thought it was a very good show. I just thought that that second hour outside of the main event was kind of boring. The woman stuff is always, unless you have like a Britt Baker involved, it never really works out for them putting women's stuff on. And then what was that other match? Ricky Starks versus, that was a squash match. Ricky Starks won like in fucking 10 seconds. The second hour was kind of bad, but obviously the main event saved it. That was a hell of a main event by the Elites and that Triangle. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this show was pretty damn good, especially the first hour, the main event. I think right now Dynamite's probably, it's winning the week right now, right? Dynamite had a much better show than Raw. We'll see what SmackDown does on Friday. But until next time, I'm out. Have a good night, everybody. Like a light.